Hi, everyone. Thanks for, oops, sorry. You hear me well? All right. Thanks for coming to our session. I'm Nicholas. This is Philip. We're from ManaCube, and we're here to tell you about how we run customer service. I'm first going to go through a quick introduction of ourselves, then the process and the mindset, which is really important, that we've put in place at ManaCube. And then Philip will introduce you to a tool that we've developed that allows us to be extremely productive and extremely efficient while delivering great service. How do you? All right. Okay. So both Philip and I have a background in the AAA games. Originally, we started over 10 years ago. Philip was then the co-founder of Kobojo, a leading social gaming company in France. And as for myself, my latest job was general manager of Europe for Gumi, a Japanese company that launched the hit game Brave Frontier. We're a core team of 4 people, and we've put customer service at the heart of our business. And customer service is meant to be extremely difficult to scale. So how do you do that when you have a small team is what I want to tackle. But first, another bit of background, just so you know, our first game, Dungeon Monsters, was released in March. It's doing reasonably well, and we've been able to run customer service every single day since it launched. So what's customer service? A definition I found online is all interactions between a customer and a product provider. Customer service adds value to a product and builds enduring relationships. For us, we think about the player experience, like the entire experience of playing a game, and how do you make that great. And it has to do with UX, it has to do with community management, but for us, customer service is how do you do that on a one-to-one level, on a personal level. It's not just answering tickets either. It's also, although it is a big part of the job, but it's also outreaching to our players, speaking to them on the phone, sending surveys to see what they think about the game. Now you may ask yourself, why is it important? A lot of businesses other than gaming have long understood that poor customer service can lose you customers, while great customer service can really make a difference. Yet in games, we make the most engaging products in the world, but we don't really seem to pay much attention to our customers. In the 2014 Temkin customer service ratings in the US, out of 200 companies, only one gaming company was part of the ranking, Activision. What that means is that Americans prefer their grocery store, their insurance company, or their bank. They get better customer service from those companies, and they prefer them. And I don't think that's right. I think it's also part of the reason why, another example is why EA was voted the worst company in America several times. EA is not the worst company in America, and it doesn't really have to do with customer service, but how they treat their players. And it also shows that we as game developers and publishers address a group of people who are extremely passionate, which I think is awesome, and they can really help sway our business one way or another. So for us, it starts with a mindset. I like saying that nobody likes talking to a robot. Nobody likes speaking either by email or phone to a person who only pushes back at the issue, asking you to perform like a series of checks or like all sorts of things without actually trying to understand the issue and helping you. For us, an incoming customer service inquiry or a ticket, it's not something we have to deal with. For us, it's almost like marketing. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to make someone's day, to build a rapport, to bring that personal touch, and ultimately retain that customer, retain that player. So to achieve that, we've put a set of best practices in place, and I'm going to list them. I'm going to list a few of them here. Nothing groundbreaking, a lot of good common sense, but you just have to do it. So first, our customer service reps are called player happiness agents. I wanted that to be part of their job description. So we have one internally right now out of only 4 people. But also, every employee spends a bit of time in the customer service department. It's a tip I found online, and it really helps you understand, feel the pulse of the players, but also improve the tools, improve the process. We respond to every single email and every single Google Play review within 24 hours. Even an email that just says hi or your game sucks, we reply it nicely. We get personal. We use our own first names. We start and we end our emails with our first name. If we know the player's first name through maybe a Facebook Connect or something like that, we will use his first name. So we really try to get personal. Again, nobody likes talking to a robot. We speak the game's language. Our game is about fantasy and orcs and elves and fighting and dragons and wizards. So we use that language in our copy, in our emails, to immerse our players in the game experience. But also, like, I bet a bunch of you are free-to-play game developers today, and we're in a really lucky position if you think about it, because we sell virtual goods, which is really cool. So you have items that have a lot of value, have great value for your players, but yet don't cost us anything. So it's a really, it's a really good thing to give gifts to your players. So every time we have, in every conversation with our players, again, even just a feedback email, anything, we will give gifts, we will give a virtual good, so we have a backend to do that. Payment issues, we look into them, but we always end up fully recrediting the player and some more, a lot more, in fact, for their trouble. There's also, I took a few pages from the restaurant industry as well. They do what they call resetting the player's clock. So when you're waiting for your meal at the restaurant and you're waiting for too long, sometimes they'll bring a small free appetizer, and that resets your clock where you wait. So we do that too when something is taking too long to address, typically a technical bug. We'll kind of send a gift and like, look, we're looking into it, here's a gift while you wait. And it works really efficiently. Those are the kind of things you can do to turn a problem into an actually really positive experience and actually benefit from it. We also have a VIP program for paying players, so we take extra special care of them. So those are the things you can do, the mindset. But really, to be efficient at doing this, to be fast, and to be great, you have to rely on data and tools. And so I'm not gonna let Philippe tell you about that. Sorry.
Thank you, Nicolas. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the way we do things. And yeah, because we are a very small company, we had to be a bit creative about how we deal with customer support. And we pretty much had to hack it, I would say. Our infrastructure is built on top of App Engine. We have a server that communicates to a client, which is in Unity, developed in C#. It sends JSON over HTTP. This is fairly standard. I bet a lot of people are doing that as well. But what is uncommon is that we built a customer support tool as a desktop app. And it's a deliberate choice that we made it also in C#, so that it basically shares a lot of the code of the tool, whether it's networks protocol or data structures. And that makes it very easy to maintain that tool and to make it very integrated into the game and vice versa. This tool connects to the game through a secure endpoint. But it's basically like, it behaves a bit like a modified version of the game, and it has special access, of course, but it's, there's a lot of common technology between those two things. And this also allowed us to hack control monitors that's running on a Raspberry Pi in a corner of our office. It's basically copy-paste code from the game, and it warns us when something important happens in the game, whether it's player spending money or a player sending us an issue. We are aware of what's going on. They have a face. They are in front of us, and they are real people, and that we need to take care of. That makes the customer support experience very human, to basically have them in the room. Oh, and last but not least, our server is capable of sending and receiving emails. So the way it works is basically like an email robot that processes email. And the way it works is when a player is trying to get in touch with us, he uses either an in-game form or sending directly an email to an address supportdm@manacube.com. And it's our game server that will receive that email and process it and try to figure out who that player is, find his account, and pack in an email that will be sent to all our players' happiness agents metadata such as their account, their level, whether they are spender, and format this email in a way that's very easy to see if it's a blocking issue or like just a feedback. And this email is sent to all the player happiness agents. Nicolas and I are also in that group, and basically we can quickly see what's going on with the player and respond to that email. So any of us can be the first responders. What will happen then is that the mail is redirected to the email robot that will strip out all the metadata and send a clean response to the player through an email that is not our private email, but well, our work email, but through the supportdm@manacube.com email. And it will also bounce back all the updated case to all the other player happiness agents. So anyone can pick the conversation in, or we can say, okay, maybe you're more, you can help this person more efficiently, and we pass cases around when needed. There are a lot of off-the-shelf solutions that can do that, and I believe much more. But they seemed very complex and hard to integrate that deep into the game as we did it. And in the end, this is less than 400 lines of Python code, and it's doing exactly what we needed. And it felt like the simplest thing that works. So we decided to do that, and it's highly customizable as well. And what the players end up seeing is, in this case, the player sends us a candid message like, please help me, I can beat this boss. It lacks context totally. And what we receive, and what he will receive, is a friendly message of someone giving him relevant information about his situation, and a little gift code. What happens from our point of view is our dashboards warns us that something is going on. We see the player's face, we can see at a glance whether it's a VIP, whether it's a blocking issue or not. We receive an email that is packed with metadata. We implemented something called custom protocol, which enables us to just click on the user ID in the email, which will directly open our custom dashboard. We see the player. In this case, it's relevant that we look at which monsters he plays with and see that maybe he's using the wrong strategy against this boss. And we can quickly send him something that will make him happy and move on. Our dashboard is built around different views. That basically the dashboard connects to the game and gets the player save. So we have access to pretty much everything about this player, and we present it in different way to make it very easily browsable. We can search player by any identifiers of the player. It's very flexible. We have access to the most important aspect of this game at a glance. We have access to all their payment history, and this is very important that this is topmost because most of our issues are related to payment disputes, and we have a feature that enables us to just verify the payment and its current state with the platform with just a right click, and this comes in handy in many situations. There is a note section that enables us to write some specific information about the user, which experiences we had, if there is something specific that happened with him. But this section is also automatically filled with some events that are generated by the server, whether there was a maintenance or technical issue that was detected. This is only possible because this tool is directly connected to the game, so it knows, everything about the game, and this is gaming information. Oh, and those dashboards are not only read-only. You can modify pretty much everything in it, and press this button, and it's uploaded back to the server, and the player is updated with a modified save. So we can act very quickly on solving the player's issue once we understand it. We built different views that are game-related, and that are that we build as the game evolves and we face different new issues. There is a raw JSON view that enables us to hack in the save. This is the Swiss Army knife that enables us to solve any issue. It's a bit risky and it requires a little bit of skills, but this is the solution to every problem if there's not a previously thought solution. The previous view showed the game as a snapshot vision of the save. We have also a view that shows us the history of everything that happened in every session, whether it's soft currency spend or hard currency gain purchase. This has been built initially to prevent fraud, but it proved super helpful to troubleshoot issues that happened in the past of the player or that are related to his usage patterns of the game. And this is something we use a lot to figure out what's going on with the player. And then finally, we've got the trifecta of intervention tools, which are inbox gift that enable us to directly send value to a player in his inbox, redeemable code that we can send to one or many player, put in social networks, and then when we want to mass communicate something, push notification that can be either sent to one player or segmentation of the whole audience. So to sum things up, we've unified the tool and the game technology so that they work together very efficiently. We've constructed a lean and efficient communication flow so that everyone can step in and the player has a neat emailing experience. We built views that enable us to understand what's going on with the players very quickly so that we have a lot of context, even if the player doesn't give us much. And we managed to make it very easy to step into the player save and modify things and fix the problem right away. But no technology will change the fact that the key to great customer service is being friendly to the players, and that's the most important part.
So finally, how far can we take this? We intend to take it pretty far. Games are a hit-driven business. You never know for sure if your next game is going to be a hit. So how do you accrue value over time? Well, we think that by building the teams and the tools and the processes to be great at customer service, we have something that carries over from one title to another. Back in the old days, people used to make 3D engines to do that, but nowadays you have things like Unity, so you don't need to make a 3D engine. So how do you accrue that value? So here's a couple of ideas of things we'd like to be doing next. I'd love to have a phone line for paying players. Because why not, right? Maybe just a live chat for non-spenders. We could have loyalty programs. We already have a VIP program. When traveling, we could be meeting our top players for coffee. I don't know if anyone's playing Dungeon Monsters here, but happy to share coffee after the conference. But let's take it this even further. If you're in the business of free-to-play games, you're probably okay with spending $3 to $25 to acquire a new player. You can multiply that by 10 or 20 if you're talking about a spender. So if we're ready to spend this much money on acquiring our players, we want to prove the case that it makes sense to spend a little bit of extra money in retaining that person with things such as sending handwritten letters or coupons or actually gifts, actual physical gifts to our players if we get their physical address. We have an internal list with tons of ideas, some that are free that we could implement tomorrow and some that are for when we're bigger and mightier. At the end of the day, our dream would be that in a few years, half of the money that we should or that we could be spending on user acquisition, if half of that money we could actually redirect it towards reinvesting into the player experience, we think that would be a great position to be in. This is it for us today. Thank you very much, and feel free to ask us any question you may have.
Do we have any questions? No, you clearly covered it all. Thank you very much, guys.